Imagine the sensation of drowning, not in water, but in the cold, clinical silence of an abyss. Imagine waking up to find that the hands you once used to cradle your lover and swing your sword have been replaced by talons of cold durasteel. You try to scream, but your lungs are no longer yours. They are encased in a pressurized bellows that wheezes with every mechanical breath. This is not a horror story. It is the biography of the most feared commander in the Separatist alliance. Before he was a collection of coughs and cybernetic plates, he was a man of honor. He was a god to his people. His name was Qymaen Sheelal. Today, we peel back the layers of propaganda and durasteel to uncover the truth. Who truly killed the hero of Kalee? It wasn't the Jedi on the battlefield, and it wasn't the shuttle crash in the sea. It was a cold, calculated corporate conspiracy. This is the story of how a savior was murdered so that a monster could be manufactured. The warlord of Kalee, a legend in flesh. To understand the tragedy, we must travel to the outer rim, to the world of Kalee, a world of red dust, jagged cliffs, and a people hardened by perpetual struggle. The Kaleesh were a spiritual warrior race, and among them, Qymaen Sheelal was a son. He was a master of the slug thrower rifle, a tactician who saw the battlefield like a grand tapestry of fate. But he was not a solitary monster. He had a soulmate, Rendezvous Liege Qymaen. Legend says they were two halves of the same soul, warriors who fought with a synchronicity that bordered on the supernatural. For years, they led the Kaleesh against their oppressors, the Hukka, technologically superior insectoid race that sought to enslave Kalee. But the Hukk had something the Kaleesh did not: friends in high places. They appealed to the Galactic Republic, painting the Kaleesh as the aggressors. And the Jedi, the so-called guardians of peace, listened. Without setting foot on Kalee to see the starving children or the burning fields, the Jedi Council sided with the Hukk. They imposed crushing economic sanctions on Kalee, effectively sentencing an entire species to death by starvation. Then came the final blow. In a skirmish against the Hukk, Rendezvous was lost at sea. Qymaen was devastated. He begged the gods for her return, and when they remained silent, he renamed himself Grievous. He would be the one to grieve for his people, for his love, and for the justice the galaxy had denied him. He drove the Hukk off Kalee, but the victory was hollow. His people were dying of hunger, and the Republic sat by, watching. The architects of ruin, the banking clan's interest. While the Republic ignored Kalee, the intergalactic banking clan was watching with predatory interest. Sand Hill, the chairman of the IBC, didn't care about justice or genocide. He cared about assets. He saw in Grievous a tactical genius that could lead a droid army, a mind that could outthink a Jedi, but with the ruthless efficiency of a machine. Sand Hill approached Grievous with a charitable offer. The banking clan would pay off Kalee's massive debts and end the famine if Grievous became their enforcer. Grievous loathed the idea of being a corporate thug, but for the survival of his people, he accepted. He became the general of the banking clan's private collection agencies, crushing uprisings and securing debts with brutal efficiency. But there was a problem. Grievous was still a man. He had a heart that longed for home. He had a sense of honor that made him difficult to control. And most importantly, he was beginning to realize that he was being used. When Grievous learned that the Hukk had violated the peace treaty and were attacking Kalee again, he broke his contract. He prepared to return home to lead his people one last time. Sand Hill realized that he was about to lose his greatest asset. And in the world of the banking clan, when an asset becomes a liability, it must be restructured. The shadow in the sky. The sabotaged Grievous boarded his shuttle, the Martyr, believing he was heading toward a final glorious defense of his homeworld. He didn't know that Count Dooku, the leader of the Separatist movement, had joined forces with Sand Hill. Dooku didn't just want a general, he wanted a weapon that was completely dependent on them. As the Martyr climbed into the atmosphere, a remote detonated bomb placed by Dooku's agents shattered the craft. The explosion was precision engineered. It wasn't meant to vaporize Grievous, it was meant to shred him. The shuttle plummeted into the sea. Dooku watched from his ship, using the Force to ensure that while Grievous's body was broken beyond repair, his vital organs and his brain remained intact. He was pulled from the wreckage, a mass of scorched flesh and shattered bone. To the galaxy, the hero of Kalee had died in a tragic accident. But in a secret facility on Geonosis, the raw material was being prepared for the most horrific surgical procedure in galactic history. The Covenant of Blood, selling the soul. Grievous woke up in a tank of green Bacta fluid. He couldn't speak. He couldn't move. He was a fragment of a man. Sandhill stood over the tank, playing the role of the savior. He told Grievous that the Jedi had sabotaged his ship. He told him that the Republic had tried to finish what they started during the Hook War. He offered Grievous a choice: die as a broken relic of a forgotten war, or be reborn as the ultimate hunter of Jedi. Grievous, fueled by a rage that was being artificially amplified by the very machines keeping him alive, agreed. He signed the covenant. He would give up his flesh to gain the power to destroy those who had destroyed his life. He didn't realize that the reconstruction would involve discarding everything that made him human. He didn't realize that the banking clan had already wiped his memories of the crash. He was no longer a man fighting for his people. He was a product. He was a slave to his own cybernetic agony. The hero was dead. The conspiracy was a success. But the physical transformation had only just begun. In our next episode, we go inside the Geonosis laboratories to witness the ritual of reconstruction. We will explore the medical horror of a man being dismantled and the birth of the mechanical terror that would haunt the Jedi for years to come. This was the end of Qymaen Sheelal. This was the birth of General Grievous.